we're going to just jump right into it. Can you guys just give me your top 1 or 2 resume pet peeves or must do's or do nots? Lisa, can we start with you, please?
Sure. Well, formatting, proofreading, you think it's, going to be common sense and you're going to have it done, but make sure you do that. PDFs are great. Fancy formats are wonderful, but sometimes having a PDF so it comes through and doesn't get all messed up, that's great, because it is a pet peeve when we see a great resume, great background, and then you hardly can read it because of the way the formatting comes through. So, or somebody who has a great background and they've misspelled the word manager, because that is, yes, the most commonly misspelled. You are not the manger, you are the manager. Yeah. So that would be kind of a couple of lines. When you talk about the things that you're really proud of, what stood out, the things that people have complimented you on and that maybe you've won an award on or you've been recognized for, those are the great, really great things that stand out, and it really tells the story of what you're proud of and what you've done.
Some of the things that I've noticed is when we're, at job fairs and, we're interacting with people, we get a resume. Of course, they're handing us a resume. They're not applying with us via our application system. And then we have no way to contact them. So they have a name, they have an awesome resume, no contact information. So how do I get in touch with you, meeting you at a job fair, and I don't know your email address or at least a contact number? So that's a big one for me. I see great resumes and then I'm like, oh, I want to talk to this person again. How do I get in touch with them? So that's definitely a big one for me. And then also technical skills. We have various roles that have technical capabilities, and we are finding people are not selling their technical skills. So I want to know, hey, what can you do? We're working in these systems, even if the technical skills or the systems are what they may feel a bit antiquated, just knowing that they have a foundational knowledge about it and some of those skills could be transferable. So definitely sell yourself on what you're able to do, the technical skills, and the type of systems that you've worked in.
I'm fond of saying that a resume is designed to get you the interview and not the job. So you really should not kill yourself to make it perfect and the point size fits everything in. What I like to see in a resume is 4 or 5 experiences or skills or cool things that you've done that make me want to talk to you and make me want to meet you. That could be a great celebrity interview that you got. It could be a first person article about working in a soup kitchen or something more clever than that. It could be being on a news show to discuss a story you reported. I want to get to know you. And, the best way to do that is with a professional, but casual and fun and entertaining and interesting description of what you have done, 4 or 5 things. You can list your jobs. Well, we can get to that eventually, but the resume for me is make me understand that you're interesting and make me want to talk to you. And then we will.
One of my pet peeves is too many words. Like if it goes to 2 pages, you perhaps have done something wrong. like really edit and sort of like just top line salient points, and we'll get to all the details when we meet. Another thing is just from a design perspective, if it's just hard to take in, like typographic hierarchy, like organization of the resume is really important. It helps with scannability. If you have like a really wide column of text, it's actually like hard for the human eye to read past a certain point. And also just like knowing like your audience. Like I've had people apply recently for a developer position and not include a website, which was a red flag. So maybe they weren't, I don't know why they did that. And then I really cannot stand a resume that's too cute. Like if you're getting all like cute and like, like funny things happening at the top. I mean, it's a little different when from what the gentleman before me was just saying about like personality, but I think there's just different ways to do it. And if it goes too cute, and especially if you're a designer, I get a little nervous.
Also using fonts that are and also colors that are easy to that are easy to view and read. Like sometimes I'll see people using colors like yellow or something like that just do not play well on a screen, and you just can't read. It's kind of hurting your eyes after a while when you're looking at it. So just think about the person on the other end who's trying to view your resume when you're putting that out there. Some other things that are also pretty good in terms of if you know you're applying for a job, and let's say it's a creative job, and you're putting your portfolio link on there, make sure it's unlocked, right? Like the worst thing is like getting there, we try to open it and it's locked. That's like another step where we have to then go contact you, ask you to unlock it so that we can go into it and view it. So like just make sure like those things are there, like that, you know, if you're putting links to like certain pages or websites that they're unlocked. If you're putting a website link there, make sure the website is that it's active and it's still open. Just things of that nature. Just like make sure that you're checking those. You know, also just like formatting things, like make sure you're tracking your changes on there, right? Like I've seen people submit their resumes and they forgot to track changes, and you know, you're seeing all the things on there. You're seeing like the notes in the background. So just be mindful of things when you're sending your resumes through. And I guess the inverse of that is, as I mentioned before, and the good would be, you know, if you're putting your resume out there, you have the links, you're showing examples of your work. It's easy to view, you know, using the proper fonts, using colors that are easy to view as well. And I think someone mentioned this earlier, knowing your audience, right? So thinking about the job that you're applying for. If it's a design job, of course, again, you probably do want to kind of showcase yourself in like in a more of a design way on a resume. If it's not a design job, you probably want to stay away from that. So I guess those would be some things that I would say that kind of stand out to me in terms of things that probably would not play as well and things that do play well.
All these were great, and I agree with all of them. You know, I'm with James. Anytime I'm giving a resume writing workshop such as this, I always say the resume gets you the interview gets you the job. And that resume is a form of storytelling. And you want to make sure that you're telling the best story that aligns with that opportunity. So highlighting those accomplishments or those experiences that directly correlate to the job. If you're an individual that is going to be including an objective, please make sure that it actually goes with the job that you're applying. I can't tell you how often that someone is submitting a resume without paying attention, and the objective isn't generic enough. So they're submitting a resume, let's say, that says they want to be a portfolio analyst and it's a recruiting job. And so I'm like, okay, your attention to detail isn't there. And how seriously should I consider you that this is the representation that you are putting forward to myself as a recruiter on the other end? And the reality is recruiters are incredibly busy. They have a ton of moving parts all at once. We probably are going to give you upwards of maybe 3 to 5 seconds just to do a quick scan to see if it all looks good. So you want to make sure that the format is right. I should not be confused with whether it's a resume or a ransom note. So some of these fonts are a little, they can get out of hand. So the visualization is equally as important as the content. And just making sure that you are attaching the right version. I'll tell you a cautionary tale. I belong to a circle of a recruiter network. So it's all like in-house agency people such as myself. And one of those recruiters was circulating the resume of her boyfriend. And the boyfriend had included some very inappropriate language, I guess as a joke, to the girlfriend. She never looked at it and she circulated it to 400 recruiters. Needless to say, probably the next week, she herself was putting her own resume out there because she had clearly gotten fired because of this exercise. So it's really important that you pay attention to those details, amplify as much as possible, to what you're aligning the role to. That little extra effort actually does matter. And if you can include a cover letter that, even more so doubles down on some of the linkages in your background,
do it. I think as we as an organization, I know we're doing this at Vox, are looking more deeply into non-traditional backgrounds, as it relates to what does success look like. It's helpful for us if you amplify what those transferable skill sets look like so that we can actually see what you would bring to the table in addition to the hardcore experience that you have. So that's what I would share with this audience in terms of like pet peeves and like, things that you should do and consider when you're submitting your resume or pulling it together.